Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Brothers War podcast. I'm Ryan Green.
And I'm Zack Taylor. And we talk about all things magic, but mostly Commander.
And this week, we're going to do some War of the Spark preview review. It's the first week of previews. Today is April 4th, and it's a Thursday. And we're recording, and we're going to tell you all about the previews that have been happened so far for War of the Spark.
Hype is real.
Oh,
so
my
real.
God, it's so real.
Yeah, these cards are like, I keep seeing these cards, I'm like, oh my gosh, so good.
Oh, man.
It's been a while since I've seen so many good cards in one set.
You know I've already pre-ordered a box from our local game store, Mothership. Got to get that buy a box promo.
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be doing the same.
Yeah, super excited. Okay, so before we get into all of that, we should thank the listeners and the viewers at home. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You know, you're the reason we do this, and just you doing that means the world to us. So thank you so much for that. Also, if you are watching the video, you should remember to like below and hit the subscribe and ding the bell for notifications.
Yep. And if you're listening, definitely subscribe on YouTube or Overcast or whatever your podcast app of consumption might be. And if you have time, maybe go to the iTunes store and give us 4 or 5 stars, whichever's the most. And say nice things about us.
Yeah, and remember, tell a friend.
For sure.
All right, so Zach, what's been going on in your life, man?
Not much doing, just kind of the usual stuff. Followers on Twitter probably know I've completed like my 3-deck gauntlet of like updating my Eiley deck, which we talked about, and I completely rebuilt my Kess deck from just Kess, and
because all you need is Kess.
It's true. And I revamped my Edgar Markov deck.
I see what you did there.
Yep.
Was that on purpose?
No, it wasn't. I mean, yes, absolutely, totally. But yeah, I ended up making it real slow because like, oh yeah, enchantments and artifacts and all this stuff. And I was like, no. I took all that. I was like, cheap vampires. Aggro, get in there. 28 creatures. That's the most I've ever put in a deck.
That's a lot of creatures.
And it's 29 in counting Edgar. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then the other thing that happened that I'm super excited about. A lot of you probably don't know I'm from East Texas, so I definitely like that Cajun food from Louisiana. And we went to a crawfish boil this evening. It was super good. It was super awesome. But,
I mean, I admit I'm a little jealous. Like, it sounded really good.
Yeah, it was awesome. I've had a picture on the tweets. So, what have you been up to, man?
All right, so this week gets to be all about Mal, and this one is pretty cool. So one of the things that happens is, you know, your kids mimic you, you know,
yeah.
That's kind of a thing. But, you know, one of the first things they do is they learn to clap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mal has got one now where he understands waving, right? And not just like the motion, like you can wave at him and he'll wave back,
right.
But like you can, hey buddy, you want to wave to your mom? And he'll do the, like he understands the word,
right,
and then does the motion, right? So they're like linked in his brain.
Put it together.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like now he waves all the time just to get you to wave back. He's like kind of exerting some control in the world, and it's really cute. And I got to see it first, and then I was like, Kelly, come in here. You got to see he's waving, and it was great. It was super awesome. So,
that's awesome.
So Mal, you're doing it, buddy. Oh yeah, okay. So there's something that's been going on in both of our lives tonight. Yep. As we said, it's April 4th, and tonight was the very first premiere of Battle of the Brews from the Commander's Brew guys, Andy and Sean, and repping.
Word.
And, you know, on the mat here, too. So,
definitely
congratulations. Yeah, man. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome, yeah.
We were both in the chat, like, interacting with all the fans, and it was super fun to see, and really looking forward to more of it. So, thanks for making that.
Yep.
And speaking of thanking people, it's not an episode of the Brothers War if we don't really throw a huge thank you to one Mr. Mike Condon.
Gentleman and a scholar.
Gentleman and a scholar. Scholar and a gentleman, I would dare say.
Not one of those things, but both of them.
Yeah, it's an inclusive and.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As
Mike,
most hands are.
Indeed. So, Mike, thank you so much for all you do and all of your help and all of your support. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so
that brings us to the main topic.
We jumping right in, yeah.
I think so.
This is gonna be a long one. We got a lot of cards to talk about.
Yeah, we gotta get on it. So we're gonna do these day by day, in reverse chronological order, starting with today, going back to Sunday. So we'll take a jaunt back in time, if you will. So the first card that we want to talk about is War Screecher.
War Screecher. You gotta screech some wars.
Right? All I have to say about War Screechers is it's a bird. It's one in a white. It flies.
And it's
Bird
a bird.
tribal. It's going into bird tribal.
It's a thing.
Yep. Bird tribal is coming to your somewhere.
Should we tell the listeners what it does?
Nope. They can look it up.
Or see it here on the screen.
Yep. Every time.
All right. So the next card up, we've got Roll Reversal. Double R. This card is pretty sweet. It's interesting. It's blue, red for a sorcery. And it says exchange control of 2 target permanents that share a permanent type. So this one's interesting. That's kind of a hefty cost, and it's a sorcery. It's not instant. But the interesting bit is it's 2 target permanents. It doesn't say like one you control. Like, so you can if you're playing a 4-player game, you could like swapsies.
Yeah.
Things that 2 of your opponents control or something. I'm not sure why you would do that.
It's curry favor. Hey, Ryan, do you want this thing? Yeah.
Did you say curry flavor?
Favor.
Because I do like me some curry. But yeah, man, this card's cool. And I do like playing with this kind of mechanic, right? I like swapping things around. I like, it's OPC in a way. We both get it, right? You get my cards, I get your cards. Maybe my card's not so great. Maybe yours is really awesome. But, it's a fair deal, right?
And the thing is, like, if you've like politics someone on your team, you can switch 2 other people's artifacts. So you don't have to switch one of yours with it.
That's true, right? Oh, so like if you're on my team,
right?
And we've got like Vanessa and we've got Elliot,
yeah.
And then like I give you like something good of Vanessa's, right? And that way, like I didn't have to give up anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I can come and like stab you in the back later.
I mean, as you and Elliot want to do.
All right. Well, this next one is a really important one.
Man, I saw a super sweet video on YouTube for this one. I was just like, I saw it and my jaw dropped and I was like, wow.
This card is known as the Banehound.
Bane. Bane.
This was our free preview card for War of the Spark. Thanks again, Wizards of the Coast. If you didn't see the video, you should have to go check it out.
Yep.
It's pretty short, but it's pretty cool. We put a lot of work into it, and I think it turned out really well.
I think so.
Zack, you did such an awesome job
working
on that, man. And
we'll put a link to it down below.
Banehound is a single black mana for a Nightmare Hound that's a 1/1 with lifelink and haste.
No one cared who I was until I had lifelink.
But yeah, so like the combo that I can think of here, like, if you're going to play this in Commander is, maybe you've got like a tapped out opponent or a way to give this unblockable or something. And then, you cast Hatred, which is black, and 3. And you pay X life and the target creature gets +X+O. So as long as you have more life than your opponent, you can pay that life, put it onto the Banehound, get in there, take that person out, and then regain all that life back so that you didn't really actually pay the downside of Hatred.
Yep.
So, the Banehound encourages, love and caring, not hatred.
Totes.
All right, what's next?
So this next card is Wizards of the Coast saying, Zack, we don't care if you can say the names of cards. Just, we're going to name stuff willy-nilly. Doesn't matter. So this is...
It'd be really interesting if they did take into account your ability to pronounce cards.
Right? Like, I know Gavin has to know, right? Gavin, if you're listening, I'm not happy.
This card is called Car.
You're right? It's like...
This is truck.
Yeah.
This is the blue lamb. Wait, is the B silent? I'm not sure. All right, sorry.
Okay.
Don't keep listeners.
So I think I can say this. I think it's Tolsimir, friend to wolves. Where on the street is Tolsimir's into wolves. So 2, it's a legendary creature, elf scout. It's 2.
I really think friend should have been in the creature type. Friend.
Yeah, that would
Elf
be
Scout friend.
Elf Scout friend. Yes. Maybe they'll have a purple dinosaur one day that has the friend.
Oh, nice.
Type. Yeah.
Because the creature that it makes. Well, read it.
Yeah. So it's 2 colorless. It's green or 2 green and a white. Legendary creature, elf scout. It's a 3/3. When Tolsimir, friend to wolves, enters the battlefield, create Vorha, friend to elves. A legendary 3/3 creature and a white wolf creature token. When a wolf enters the battlefield under your control, gain 3 life, and that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Yeah, so if like Tolsimir had friend, and then if Borja maybe I say different than the first. Anyway, if that had like the type White Wolf friend creature, I mean, they're BFFs.
I mean, definitely. And I mean, that's Tulsamir's
Yep.
MO, right?
For sure.
So, all right. Okay. So that's everything from today.
Yep.
Right. From today, Thursday. So we're going to go back in time. All right. So Wednesday, we've got Death Spout. This card is 1 black, green for an instant. Some awesome art by Seb McKinnon.
Yep.
It says, destroy target creature, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So this card's pretty cool because it's like kill, removal and ramp all at the same time. And it's an instant speed. So like,
let me know some instants.
Yeah, and ramp out of nowhere is really cool. Like we saw that with Growth Spiral in Ravnica Allegiance. And I don't know, this card's sweet. The mana cost is a little bit hefty, but destroy target creature, that's good. Go searching up a land is really good. Like, for example, like you would pay 2 mana to kill something and you'd pay 2 mana to ramp. Here you're paying 4 for both.
Right.
I will say maybe the downside here is that maybe you want to kill something, but there's not really any great targets, but you're like, oh, I really want to ramp. So just,
Yeah, you kill someone's Warsh creature.
Yeah. No, birds. but yeah, Death Sprout is pretty sweet. Good card. What do you think?
I think it's super good. I think this card, I mean, it's great at uncommon, right? Yeah, I think this card to see play in probably standard, and it's great for us, I think.
Commander players like it too.
Word.
All right, what's next?
Single combat. It's a white 3, or it's 3 and 2 white sorcery. Each player chooses a creature, planeswalker they control, then sacrifices the rest. Players can't cast creatures or planeswalker spells until the end of your next turn. So this is an interesting card. It is kind of a board wipe. I mean, you're definitely clearing out the board, but you can't. Creatures or planeswalkers can't be cast till the end of your next turn.
I'll tell you, the first time I read this card, I read that as until the start of your next turn. So I thought you were going to be the first person to get to rebuild, and you pointed out to me that is not the case, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this as much.
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, honestly, at that point, I'd rather just for 1 colorless less just play a Wrath of God,
right, or Fumigate or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like if you've got one thing that you really want to protect or something, like it could be pretty decent. And I don't know, like you wipe the board and then you're not worried about them actually rebuilding. And then on your turn, you can have counter magic up to counter. I don't know, like it's okay. But I mean, I will say we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the sweet art. Soren got out of that wall.
Right.
And here he's jumping up with these like blades and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It was like a pretty epic fight.
All right, so up next we've got, speaking of Soren, look at that transition. I did it. Soren, Vengeful Bloodlord, is 2 white-black for a legendary planeswalker Soren with 4 starting loyalty. As long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. Sweet. Getting vampiric up in here. For +2, Soren, Vengeful Bloodlord deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. So, like, that's kind of weak, but it's a +2, right? You go up 2 loyalty, so that's something. And then -X. Return target creature card with a converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then that creature is a vampire in addition to its other types. So, maybe get that in the Edgar Markov deck, right?
I like this card. I think it's good. I mean, I think it'd fit in Eiley too with the lifelink stuff.
Yeah, actually, giving all your creatures lifelink is pretty sweet.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, the better card is the Whip of Erebos, right? Like that. Yeah. That's like, well, I mean, it is an artifact and an enchantment, so probably easier to kill, but can't be attacked directly, right?
That's true.
I don't know. I think this card's good. And I think basically what it's going to do is like really gain you a lot of life.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to be able to swing all out, and then they're going to take time attacking it, and that's kind of like pseudo life gain. So yeah, I mean, kind of not what I was expecting, but
but like I definitely give this card a try. What do we have next? Let's see. Not that card. This card.
The other card.
Yep.
These are not the cards you're looking for.
This is Krenko 10th Street Kingpin. He costs 2 and a red, is a 1/2 legendary creature goblin that says whenever Krenko 10th Street Kingpin attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then create a number of +1/+1 red goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power.
He's also the arch nemesis of Daredevil.
Yep. I mean, he looks like Kingpin. Yeah. I think this card unchecked could get out of hand real quick.
And that's the thing in Commander. There's usually somebody that's OFB, right? Open for business.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, and I read the card the first time and I was like, wow, this doesn't seem that great. Like 3 mana for a 1/2, but when it attacks, it's going to be a 2/3 and it's going to make a 1/1. So would you be happy if you got a 2/3 and a 1/1 for 3 mana? Yeah, you would, right? And then if you have some other way to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it, the first time you attack can be like super meaningful. And it kind of does like like the thing Krenko does, which is Krenko out a bunch of goblins, right?
Well, so you would actually get 2 1/1s, right? Because when he attacks, he gets +1. Then create number of 1/1.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. It's power, not number of tokens. So yeah. Like even better.
Yeah, like you're getting 2. So you can attack with him, and then you've got blockers. You've got 2 blockers for when it goes around. So I think that's pretty legit.
Not necessarily like super excited to like helm a deck with that.
No.
But definitely good in the 99. And you know, if you're doing goblins, like you could do worse for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Is this one mine to read? Yeah. Up next, we've got Lazotep Plating. This is 1 in a blue for an instant, and it has amass 1. That's a new mechanic in War of the Spark. And it just says, put a +1/+1 counter on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. That's the only time we're going to read that. Anything else with amass, we're just going to say amass.
Yep.
The cool part here is it says you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So this card is sweet, right?
I think so, yeah.
Like 2 mana to like make you and everything have hexproof is really good.
I think so.
And on top of it, like even if you're not playing like the army shenanigans, which I'm not sure that's going to be great in Commander, but you're going to get like a 1/1 chump blocker out of it, which seems awesome for 2 mana. And it's like this feels like it should be like a white card or a green card.
I would think so.
And I love this kind of effect, right? Like somebody points a big electro dominance at your face and you're like, nope.
Boom. So next we have Storev.
We did it that way, so you have to pronounce all the hard
Karen
cards.
Lich. Apparently, it costs 1, 2 black, and a green for a legendary creature, zombie elf wizard. It's a 5/4 trample. Whenever Storev, Dev Karen Lich deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, return to your hand target creature or planeswalker card in your graveyard that wasn't put there this combat. I think that's pretty good. Like I could see this being a commander that people could build around.
I think they put that last part on there that wasn't put through this combat so that that Storev can't return itself. I think.
Yeah.
Really good. Definitely Golgari type feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have more to say? Like I've got some more. I'll jump in. I felt like I might have interrupted on you there a little bit, but okay.
You're good.
So, being able to return planeswalkers, there's not a lot of cards that do that.
It's true.
And this is a 4 mana 5/4 trample, so really efficiently costed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, I mean, maybe if you wanted to do like a Golgari, like Super Friends, this might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you know, if you have a way to give this unblockable, even better. Yeah, I could see this going really well, like in a Marin Clan of Neltoth deck or something where you want to like sacrifice a bunch of stuff. So, definitely a powerhouse. I think it'll see play in our format. Once again, not super excited to build around it, but my mind could be changed on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think a pretty cool deck could be built.
What do we got next?
Gleaming Overseer. Also, we have moved on back in time a little bit further to Tuesday now, right? It's like, what is that in where he does that? It's like an Andy Samberg like Saturday Night Live sketch where he like goes back. He's like, what? And he's like, he goes back. Anyway,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, did we read this one?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's Gleaming Overseer. It's costs 1, a blue, and a black for a creature zombie wizard. That's a 1/4. When Gleaming Overseer enters the battlefield, amass. Zombie tokens you control have hexproof and menace. I think this would be good if you're doing like a black, blue zombie token, go wide strategy. I mean, amass doesn't really work for going wide so much, but hexproof and menace definitely pretty good.
But I mean, that 1/1, like, so you're getting a 1/4 and a 1/1.
Oh, yeah.
And the 1/1 has hexproof and menace.
Right.
And like, we all know that zombies come in the 2/2 token variety, right?
Yep.
Like that's where they at, right? So if you're running like Grim Corpseborn or any sort of like Gisa and Geralt kind of deck where you're making a bunch of zombie tokens, this like gives them all menace, which is really
Menace is pretty good.
Hexproof probably isn't all that important on zombies because they're usually going to have to kill them all because killing one at a time is really not going to get it done. But having menace is really good.
It is.
And for 3 mana, I don't know. I think the card's pretty sweet, and I think it's definitely going to be really good in limited. All right, so up next we've got a super cool one. It is Fibblethip the Lost, and I will find it. Yeah, I can't find him. He's lost. All right, to the bat phone. Okay, Fibblethip the Lost is 1 in a blue. I could have probably done this from memory. For a 1/1 legendary creature homunculus, when Fibblethip the Lost enters the battlefield, draw a card. If it entered from your library or was cast from your library, draw 2 cards instead. When Fibblethip becomes the target of a spell, shuffle Fibblethip into its owner's library. That's a lot of text.
Yeah, it is.
We got to read Gavin's article about this, and it was really good. Gavin, thanks for doing that. It was cool to like see that it was like a top-down design. The flavor here is totally on point, and I love the card. Like it's so like it's flavorful and it looks like fun. Works really well with Proteus Staff, right? Like you could even like make it a commander deck where you don't have like many other creatures in the deck,
just the one guy.
Yeah, just keep Fibblethiping all over the place. Can Fibblethip be a verb? I feel like it can.
I feel like it is now. You've made it one.
That's what we do. I don't know. What do you think about this card?
I think it's really interesting. Like I definitely like the flavor, and I think it's like a cute little character. Something that I've been thinking about is, or that I've read is that people think that he may be a planeswalker, right? He may not even know that he's planeswalking, which I think is interesting. And what that reminds me of is a character from the Dark Tower book series that the guy who could teleport, right? And he didn't really exactly realize he was doing it. And then it eventually comes back around and he ends up being a major character kind of in the end. So it reminds me a lot of that. But yeah, I think that's an interesting theory.
I have a theory.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I have a theory that Fibblethip is somehow related to the Wanderer. Like
Absolutely.
The Wanderer is like a guardian of Fibblethip or chasing Fibblethip
right
for like a bounty or something, or like an alter ego, like I don't know, like a Fight Club kind of situation going on here, like a Tyler Durden situation. I don't know.
Wait, which one's Tyler and which one's the narrator?
Well, clearly the Wanderer is the narrator. Yes, we'll go with that.
Okay. Because the narrator's never named in the book.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, that's our cute little homunculus pal. So what's next?
Another super hard to say. That's not so bad. Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion, 2 and 2 red for a legendary creature, zombie Minotaur Warrior. And they're just using all the types on the creatures now.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna see a lot of zombies, right? Except friend, right? Come on. I'll be there for you, Neheb.
He's a 5/4, and it says whenever it has trample, whenever Neheb Dreadhorde Champion deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you may discard any number of cards. If you do, draw that many cards and add that much red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. I think this is really interesting. Like, first off, for a 5/4 trampler, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, this is efficiently costed for sure.
Yeah. And then, you ditch your hand to get that mana, and then the fact that you don't lose the mana as phases and steps end, like, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. I mean, I know how it works, but I don't know how that could be
like abused.
Yeah, basically abused. I was trying to think of a different word, like made. Anyway, not. I don't want to put like a negative connotation on it, but because after your I mean, I guess if you want to cast something in your an instant or something in your instep are real bad.
Well, no, I mean, really, it's because it happens during combat, right? Like, you get the mana during combat, and so if they didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to use it, like, in your second main.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, that's... I'm not sure that it's really on there for that, although those kind of loopholes always come back around. Something always happens there.
That was my thinking. I was just trying to think of, like, what sort of loophole there would be for that. I was trying to play it like Trixie Ryan playing, like, Jin Cataxis at the end of someone else's turn or something.
Man, if only Neheb had Flash. But, no, but this card's pretty sweet, right? Because it's not discard your whole hand. It's discard any number that you want. So maybe you do discard your whole hand because you're digging for something specific.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have like another like 4 or 5 drop in your hand and you just ditch the rest of them. So like you get that mana plus the mana on your turn, or like you have some like big giant 8 drop and you can really like, this could power out a lot of stuff.
If you're playing blue red, you could definitely like overload a Cyclonic Rift.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This card's going to go really well with Lightning Greaves, right? Like getting to like Greaves it up on the turn it comes into play.
Yeah.
And then get that mana right away. So like you spent the 4, but then it'll kind of act like a sort of feast and famine, like kind of like small impression. And, you know, cards in your graveyard are a resource too.
They are.
Right? So if you're doing a lot of flashback stuff with this, like I could actually see this being a pretty cool commander. Like of all the ones we've seen so far, I think Neheb is the one that I'd be like, of course, it's a mono red card, so of course I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I really like Neheb. All right, so let's walk backwards in time. We got Mawoo, Loyal Companion.
You didn't tell them how far back we went.
Oh, we went to Monday.
Monday. Okay, cool. I was thinking of you guys, and I wanted you to know.
Just another card preview Monday. All right, so we got Mawoo here. This is Jian Yangu's good doggo, good boyo.
Yep.
So Mawoo, the Loyal Companion, is 3 and a green for a legendary creature Hound. It's a 3/3 with Vigilance and Trample. Who let Mawoo out? So if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on Mawoo, Loyal Companion, that many +1/+1 counters are put on instead. So basically, this doggo's got like 3 tails going, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how, like, I want to know lore-wise, like, how the dog planeswalks, right? Like, because normally, like, the planeswalkers can't take other people with them, you know? So.
Maybe he holds him real tight.
He's got a thunder blanket
right
for Mawoo here. Yeah, I don't know. I think this card's cool. It's a legendary creature. It could be your commander. You could do all kinds of +1/+1 shenanigans with it, but I think really the flavor wind of putting it with Jian Yangu is pretty cool, like from a lore perspective. I don't know. What do you think about this card?
I think it's pretty cool. Like, I could see putting it with Toothy from
of Pier and Toothy fame from Battle Bond.
Yep. I think that could be interesting. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people talking about "quote unquote" good boy tribal for like dogs, or I guess hounds.
Who have you heard talking about that?
The internet. I'm serious. I read so much Twitter, dude. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. All right. Next, we have Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. She's one of the newer planeswalkers, right? She's like, what was it? What set was she in? She's debuted?
M19?
That's what I was thinking.
I think. Yep. Let's go with it.
Yep, sure.
That's fact now. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, you're seeing this on the internet, and the internet never lies.
Never.
Never.
All right, so what does Vivian do?
Well, first she costs 2 and a green.
That's cheap.
It is. Legendary Planeswalker Vivian comes in with 4 loyalty. 4. You may cast spells as though they had flash.
Oh, creature spells.
Creature spells. What?
I'm in. All right, done. I'm sold already. Wait, there's more?
Yep. +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gains Vigilance and Reach. Yes, please.
Reach.
And
Vigil each.
And until your next turn. So you give something Reach.
Oh, right.
And, you know, somebody's coming at you with Bird Tribal. You reach out and snatch those birds right out of the air.
You just like throw up a screen of like all these like windows.
Yep.
Birds will never see it coming.
And then her minds too is look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at this card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. So the interesting thing is, Vivian don't have to be around for you to cast that.
That's right. Yeah, like that card it's like Gonti.
Yep.
When you've got that card, it's there, and if Vivian goes away, you could still cast it. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, 3 mana for 4 loyalty is great.
Yep.
The problem is that you kind of already have to have something in play to protect Vivian. Like she doesn't really create like defense of any sort, other than like the thing that you have. You can get Vigilance and Reach, which is cool. But I mean, I kind of love this card. Like creature spells as though they had flash.
That's pretty good.
I really like this. Like I can see this fitting into a lot of stuff. Reminds me obviously a lot of Yeva, Nature's Herald. I mean, I think part of this thing with planeswalkers having like static abilities is going to be really interesting because like you and I talked about earlier, we've been kind of like evaluating them as though they're enchantments because that's kind of what it feels like. But they're enchantments that can be attacked
for sure,
and that's a downside, right? So I don't know. Like I think this one's good though. I think this one's very commander playable.
Yeah, I do too, and I'll be interested to see how these commanders get played in decks and see just how that works out. So what do we got next?
All right, up next is newcomer Teo, the Shield Mage. Teo, 2 and a white for a 5 loyalty. So for 3 mana for 5 loyalty, Planeswalker Teo, you have hexproof. Pretty sweet. And for -2, you can create a 0/3 white wall creature token with Defender. So this is one of the uncommon ones. Having hexproof is usually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe less relevant in Commander than in other formats because Cyclonic Rift doesn't target, and
Water Wipes don't target.
A lot of people tend to run things that hit everybody because it's more efficient in Commander.
Yeah.
But I think particularly really going to work really well in like your wall tribal kind of situation or like your Arcades kind of thing. I think the art on this is sweet. Oh, it's Magali. Villeneuve. Villeneuve. Yeah, it's Magali, obviously. Like when I see sweet art, it's just obviously it's her. So that always happens. It's so funny. It's like her art style resonates with me. So anyway, yeah, like what do you think about this one?
I think it's pretty sweet. The hexproof, I think that's fine. Like I think it's cool. It's not amazing, I don't think, especially in Commander. But like I definitely like the idea that she generates walls that protect her, for one. And then on top of that, if you're playing, your Arcades or Wall Tribal Sword decks, it does work out. Like, I'm interested to see what she does in the Commander stuff in the coming months after it comes out. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so this one's yours, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's Vivian's Arcbow. It's 1 and a green for a legendary artifact. X, tap, discard a card. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put a creature card with converted mana cost X or less from among them into the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I think this is pretty good. I definitely think in your like your pod or your what's that creature that does the pod thing?
Prime Speaker Vanifar.
Yeah, in your Vanifar decks. I think this fits that theme, and I think it could be pretty good. What do you think?
I like this card a lot. It's a colored artifact, so that's interesting. I mean, we've seen those before, but I love that it's got like the flavor that it is like Vivian's like personal bow.
Yeah.
I think the card's really good. It only costs 2. Obviously, it's going to be much better when you have a lot of mana to pump into the X, right? It enables madness, right? So like, or flashback, like if the card you discard is like something you want in your graveyard, that's cool. And the fact that you can do this at instant speed, right? It doesn't say like do this anytime you can do a sorcery. So again, I'm always in there thinking about it like, okay, come at me and maybe I have some awesome blocker you don't know about. Like it's a little bit scary and you leave your mana open to do other things. And you're paying X to get it right onto the battlefield. So, if you can make X sufficiently big, like 6 or 7, I think you have a really good chance of hitting something cool with this. And I don't know, I just think it's sweet. Like this is definitely a card I can see myself playing.
Yeah, same. So let's see. We have.
Well, this one's me, right?
Yep.
All right. Found it. All right.
Did you?
I did. This is the Wanderer. This is the speculated. This is one of the ones we didn't know about.
Yep.
We still don't know who it is, right? Like, identity shrouded in mystery. The Wanderer is 3 and a white for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker with no name. It's not like a legendary planeswalker Teo or legendary planeswalker Vivian. It's legendary planeswalker.
Yeah, I didn't notice that till now.
That's something, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something going on there. There's going to be a reveal of some sort, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good job, Wizards.
Yeah.
I love stuff like this. I should keep reading. So, the Wanderer says, prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. And she has a -2 of exile target creature with power 4 or greater. So 4 mana for 5 loyalty that prevents all non-combat damage. I think the interesting bit is I think this is like secretly a Boros card, right? because you put this down and you're like, okay, Earthquake for 10 and me and my opponents don't take any damage and wipe the rest of the board. It just seems really cool in that kind of situation. And I really don't think you can like count out like preventing non-combat damage. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think this one's actually really cool. This card could have been a rare, I think. Like, I think
so
it's
too.
that powerful. But time will tell. And maybe time will also tell us who the Wanderer is. But I know I am looking forward to learning more about this character.
I mean, I've heard, there's lots of theories going around. There's one that the Wanderer is it Tetsuko Umazawa fugitive, because that character travels around through doors or something, and then like there
is a door in the background
behind her
in the art. Yeah. Interesting.
And there's like an insert card that says something about that character, saying that character's secretly against Bolus or something. So that's one. The other one is that the Wanderer's secretly Imricul. I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Or secretly Fiddlethip.
Yeah, right. And that's the other one, is that Fiddlethip and the Wanderer are somehow in league. I don't know. I guess we will see. So let's see. What is next? It is Teferi, Time Raveler. Interesting name. It's Teferi's 1, a blue, and a white. Legendary Planeswalker Teferi. Am I saying that right?
I think it's Teferi.
Teferi.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. It's endearing. Each opponent can cast spells only anytime they can cast a sorcery. Sweet.
Right, so that's getting back to like the legendary creature.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Teferi, yeah.
It's for loyalty. Oh yeah, I got one of those legendary creatures on eBay for the super cheaps. You'll be seeing that coming into play soon.
Ooh. No, it's a great card. I love that card.
I've seen you play it.
Yeah, I know. I like playing it. I don't like playing against it. But hey.
I mean, where do I learn my stuff from? You should have thought about that before you played it. The student becomes the master. So anyway,
let's learn more about this Time Traveler.
Right. So you can +1 him until your next turn. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash.
Yes, please.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime I've ever cast a sorcery, I've always thought, I wish this were an instant every time. And then -3, return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand. Draw a card.
This card is pushed.
Yeah.
This card is pushed. 3 mana to return something and draw a card.
What's pushed mean?
It means that it's really, really, the power level's turned up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pushed up. I gotcha.
Yeah. So,
gotcha.
Like for 3 mana to bounce something and draw a card and leave behind a 1 loyalty planeswalker.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is.
Right? And then being able to cast spells, like shutting down your opponent's instance, like you can play this and then like do some crazy stuff on your turn. And for 3 mana, like having 5 loyalty to start with, like, I don't know. I think this card's going to see play in standard, and I want to play with this actually. Just to be frank, like I think this card is sweet, but I've always loved Teferi, and I do love me some Flash.
Right, Flash is your jam.
All right, so next up we've got Karn's Bastion. This is the first land we're going to talk about here.
Yep,
and this one is awesome. It taps to add a colorless, right, or a diamond mana.
Yep,
and it also has 4-tap Proliferate. Yeah, so this is a land that can just pump your planeswalkers. It can like get extra poison counters onto your opponents. It can put +1/+1 counters everywhere. It's crazy. And it's colorless. It can go in any deck. I mean, 4 and tapping it, you're essentially spending 5 mana. That's a lot to proliferate, but it's also in a land. It's really hard to kill.
Yeah.
I can't protect everyone here, but those I can, I will. Karn. Yeah. So I don't know, like this card seems crazy to me.
It does to me too. Like I definitely am gonna want like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 of them.
I mean, any Super Friends deck is gonna hands down.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know. I just think this card's amazing, right? Like, I think it's definitely gonna see play like in standard and like like you said, any of your Super Friends decks, absolutely. So Nicol Bolas Tribal, just put that in there.
Right, and here's the scary part about this card, okay? So check it out. I've played a Super Friends deck before, and people always do the math when they're playing this. They're like, okay, I don't have to worry about, Liliana ultimating this turn because Next turn, Ryan will plus her and get her into range of ultimate, and then I can deal with it on the following turn to attack.
Prize Soccer Khan's Bastion.
Right, and the thing is, if you keep it in your hand and you don't lay it until the turn, you can play it, proliferate, and then ultimate the turn, and there's not a lot that could be done there, right? So this is going to be sneaking some Planeswalker Ultimates in a neighborhood near you. I think this card might end up being pricey. I don't know.
I think it will too.
It's very niche in its use, so maybe it's not pricey for that reason. And depending on how standard goes with all the Planeswalkers and if it's an actual strategy, man, I love this card though. I seriously do. I think it's really, really cool.
I do too. Love it.
This is
Back to Sunday.
Sunday, the first day of previews.
Yep.
Actually, huge shout out to Jimmy Wong here, who hosted the PAX panel. That was awesome.
It was.
And it was really cool to see it. And actually, just a particular shout out, those sneakers that he was wearing were super awesome.
Oh, those red ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did a great job, and I think they definitely... So, this is... somebody was... I'll just go ahead and read it, and I'll tell you my story. It's Jace, wielder of mysteries.
Dude. I'm just picturing Jace.
He's welding some memories. Yeah. He's 1 and 3 blue.
Yeah, that's a lot of blue pips.
It is. Legendary Planeswalker Jace. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. Oh yeah, he comes with 4 loyalty. +1. Target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyards. Draw a card. -8. Draw 7 cards. Then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So I like to call this guy Jace the Lab Man.
Yeah. Jace, wielder of maniacs.
This card's super good.
Is it?
I think, okay. For the use that I want to do with it, I can see putting it in one of my Spellslinger decks because those start to run low on cards because I'm slinging my spells back and forth.
I sling my spells back and forth.
I feel like you should do what is the floss or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to dance. I also as a sub a secondary win condition in my Muldrotha deck is decking myself. I glimpse the unthinkable myself, and I've got the guy that when he attacks, target player puts top half their graveyard in their library. I'm just or library into their graveyard. I'm just flop. And I've done this before where I keep doing that. I get lab man out, and then I have the Jace that makes you discard 10 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then just win. So I don't know. It's definitely a corner case thing, but it's my corner case. So so
frank discussion here. So number 1, 3 blue pips is hard.
It is
4 mana for 4 loyalty. Okay. No minus to speak of, really. There's a plus and an ultimate.
Yeah.
The plus is fine. You get to mill yourself for 2 and draw a card. That's good.
I mean, you don't have to mill yourself. You mill somebody else. I mean, mill's not that great in Commander, but...
Yeah, but I mean, you probably want to mill yourself just to give yourself access to more resources.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Getting to 8 on this is pretty tough.
Yeah.
And the ultimate doesn't... I mean, yes, technically it does win you the game if your library is already really empty.
Right.
So, this on its own, I don't know. I think if I see this, if I'm sitting across from this, unless I know that your deck's got a whole bunch of crazy stuff in it, I think I'm not super scared. So maybe that is a bonus in this card's favor.
I mean, that's what I'm planning on.
Lulling me into a false sense of security.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan underestimating me once again.
But I don't know. I mean, I love the art here.
I do.
I think the card's neat. The static ability is just okay. I think that, it kind of telegraphs something. So
for sure.
I don't know. I'm going to say that I could very easily be surprised here, and this card could turn out to be really good. And I've got a mono Jace deck, so I probably need one of these, and it is a win condition in that deck. So yeah, I mean I'll pick one up.
I feel like I'm going to show you the dark side of the Force on this one.
All right, show me how it goes. Okay, so it's obviously you read the Jace, so I have to read the next one.
Yep.
This card is super interesting. This is called Time Wipe. It's 2 white, blue for a sorcery. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. So, you always feel bad about casting that Wrath of God that you need to because you're oh man, I'm going to lose my stuff.
Yeah.
This kind of prevents that, and It's only 5 mana. That's a totally reasonable cost for
Agreed.
a board wipe that has upside. And, if you're playing blue and white, you probably have a lot of cards that have, like, good enters the battlefield effects, right? I think this could be staple-ish.
I think so, too.
Right? I mean, a lot of decks, like, hinge on their commander staying in play. And so, like, whenever you board wipe, you're like, oh, now I got to pay that tax again. And this gets around that, too. I don't know. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself playing this, especially for like the commander case, right? Like, bring my commander back to my hand and then destroy everything. I do love that. So, Ryan, are you gonna be sad if I read this card?
No, it's your turn.
You sure? I don't know if you want to read. Okay.
No, it's totally fine. I will definitely give my opinions.
I think this card is sweet.
This card is super sweet.
Yeah. It's
this card is rock candy. Like, it's just pure sugar.
I was like, where are you going with that? So it's 3 black. Oh, it's called Bolus's Citadel.
That's important.
Yeah, it's a legendary artifact that costs 3 black. And it says, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. Okay, I like that. You may play the top card of your library. Definitely like that. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. Wait, what? My life is literally
crazy.
A resource, right?
Yeah.
Then you tap, sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each point loses 10 life. That's okay.
Yeah, honestly, that last bit, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, you could go crazy and make like a whole bunch of like treasure tokens or something with this. It's like a black future sight, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I love is it doesn't like restrict you, like, because a lot of these cards you see like, oh, you can play an instant or sorcery, or you can play a creature,
right?
Like Vizier of the Menagerie or something. You could just play anything. And the cool part is, like, you get to play lands too, and it doesn't cost you any life, so that's already like fine. Yeah. In black, it's like, good. And then, yeah, getting to pay life instead of mana, I feel like this is a decent include in like an Eiley deck or like an Aloro deck, any kind of life gain deck. You could just string together like a ton of cards.
You could.
And the other fun thing is like, I guess like this works really well with Sensei's Divining Top.
Oh gosh.
Right? Like pay 1 life, draw a card, or basically.
Or even Scroll Rack too. Like so if you have something in your hand that you want to cast like that, like.
Oh yeah. But like here, look at how top works, right? You put top on top, draw a card, right? Then you pay 1 life to put top into play. You didn't pay any mana. You just paid 1 life.
Yeah.
Then you put top back on top to draw a card. Then you pay 1 life to play top.
My goodness.
It's pay 1 life, draw a card. It's like, with this, it's like Yawgmoth's Bargain, which is banned in our format. Like,
I wish it weren't, but yeah.
This card is sweet. This card is super sweet.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, and it doesn't like, a lot of cards like this too are like, yeah, you can't draw a card to get this ability, right? But this lets you draw a card, and like, I don't know, it's like, is it the black experimental frenzy?
Sure, yeah. The future experimental frenzy, or the site of experiments. I don't know. The card's pretty awesome.
It is. What's next?
So up next, we've got Liliana, Death Horde General, 4 black for a legendary planeswalker, Liliana with 6 starting loyalty. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. That's her static ability. That's great.
Legit.
+1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Protects herself.
Nope.
Goes up to 7 loyalty. Awesome. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. That's like Barter and Blood. You normally would pay like 4 mana for that ability, and you're tacking on 2 extra to get a planeswalker. Pretty awesome. -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Wow. That is crazy.
It is.
Like, if that happens, you probably win the game, because it's not everybody. It's just your opponents.
Yeah.
This art is amazing.
It is. I love it. You'll see it right there.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know. Like, I think this is probably going to be one of the more sought after cards in the set.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's a mythic, right? Is this the only mythic we've seen?
I am not paying that much attention.
I think it is. Like, I think this is the only mythic planeswalker. I thought Jace was one, but Jace is rare.
No, yeah. If he was mythic, I'd be a little sad.
So, like, I think the other 2 mythics, A1 bold prediction.
Ooh.
Bringing it back. The other mythic is going to be Karn and Ugin. Those are the other two mythics.
Well, I mean, we're going to have a mythic Bolus, right?
Oh, Bolus is mythic?
Probably. I mean, I would think.
Yeah. Because I want to say they said how many mythics there were going to be, right? Isn't it 3?
I'm not sure. But you know what? That's okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep talking. So So that was Liliana, right? So what do we got next? Dreadhorde Invasion. This one's definitely up for you to talk about.
All right. It is 1 and 1 black for an enchantment that says, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. Whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. Amass is definitely a go tall strategy. So, if you're playing an amass type deck, yeah, you could definitely get to 6 pretty easily, I think. And lifelink, gain 6 life. I don't hate that. And this thing only costs 2. So if you get it out early, that's start amassing.
I think the true power in this card is how similar it is to Bitter Blossom, right?
Yeah.
It's going to make a 1/1 creature for 1 life. And if you have some way to sacrifice that creature, you're just going to keep getting that 1/1. Probably goes really well in your Urtai the Corrupted deck.
Yeah.
Right? But anything that can just continually generate a 1/1 creature, and so some sort of aristocrat strategy, I think that's where this card truly shines. And 2 mana. I think this card's good.
I think it's real good. I definitely plan on playing it.
All right. So up next, we've got an uncommon, and this one's pretty sweet. This is Flux Channeler. It's 2 and a blue for a 2/2 human wizard. And it says, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. Hey, Zach, do you know what non-creatures are?
Everything but creatures.
That's right. You know what else is a non-creature? Planeswalkers.
Yep.
In your Super Friends deck, every Planeswalker you cast gets to proliferate onto all the other Planeswalkers. That's huge, right?
It is.
Luckily, this thing's pretty easy to kill with 2 toughness, but
right.
I think we're going to see a lot of this card.
I do too. Next is Emergency Zone.
No, just Emergence.
Emergence.
It's literally where the planar portal opens up to let the Eternals onto Ravnica.
Okay.
Right? It's being opened by Tezzeret, right? And go ahead, read it out.
Why would Tezzeret open that for the bad guys to come?
Yeah.
Why does Tezzeret do? Oh, Tezzeret. Yeah. I thought we were talking about Teferi.
No, it's definitely Tezzeret.
Yeah.
Why don't you read this for the folks at home?
It's a land. It taps for 1 colorless mana.
Sweet.
Yep.
Doesn't come to play tapped like that.
Yep, for sure. 1 tap, sacrifice Emergence Zone. You may cast spells this turn as though they had flash.
Holla!
I mean, will you ever be doing this on your own turn? Absolutely not. But on Ryan's turn, I could be doing it, and then I could be doing all the things on Ryan's turn.
Here's the deal, okay? This card is amazing.
Yeah,
it can go in any deck. And, guys, we all know that Ryan loves Flash, right? But, this is like Winding Canyons. This is like Alchemist Refuge. This is like the Dokken Orrery. It's until end of turn, all spells, right? And usually you really only need that one turn where you go ham, right?
Yeah.
You just leave open all your mana on the person to your right's turn. You sacrifice this. And, 2 is a lot, right? Because you have to spend 1 other land and sacrifice this one and tap it. So, it's going to take your mana down by 2. But, surprise, here comes the thing. And then now I get to untap and protect it. And, if you got Crucible of the Worlds going, just keep this coming back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come into play tapped. There's, literally no downside except for it doesn't add colored mana. I think this card's really good.
I do too. Literally going into all my spell type decks.
Yeah. The thing is, the threat of this is, you just leave open all your mana. And then people are like, oh, man, what's he got? What's he got?
Yep.
What's in his hand?
Please, hammer, don't hurt him.
So, yeah, man. Emergence Zone. Super sweet.
Absolutely.
Totally awesome. All right.
Definitely going to be like a $3 uncommon, I bet.
Yeah, probably. All right. So, next up, we've got Ajani the Great-Hearted. This is 2 green-white for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Ajani. Creatures you control have vigilance. That's a static ability. That's pretty sweet. +1, you gain 3 life.
Doesn't hurt.
That's okay. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other planeswalker you control.
What? It's like you proliferated.
Yeah, this card's pretty sweet. And it has enough to do it twice.
Yep.
I don't know. I think this is going to be an auto-include in your Super Friends type decks as long as you can run the Selesnya colors. And I don't know. Johnny seems really good.
He does. This card makes me sad, though.
Because you can't see the squirrel?
Yep. They cropped out the squirrel. The squirrel's the best part.
If you zoom in on the... Can you see him there?
No.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
under
kinda.
the.
Yeah, under the word
Oh,
vigilance.
yeah, I see him kind of. Yeah, I see him.
There it is.
Yeah. Poor squirrel.
All right, I'm gonna let you read this next one. Even it is your turn, but for sure this is yours.
Okay, this is probably the card I'm the most excited about in the set. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. He costs 4, a blue and a black. He has 5 loyalty. Creatures and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts.
That's big game.
It is super good. So his +2 is he deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life.
Ooh,
So good.
that's a +2.
Yeah, that's his +2. So -3. Return to artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty good. And then -8. Exile the top 10 cards of your library. Put all artifact cards from among them into the battlefield.
Wow, and that's 8, and Tezzeret starts at 5 and
Yep.
+2s. So on the first turn you play, it's 7.
Yep.
If like
And then you proliferate. Oh,
yeah, and then protect it, like you could
Yeah.
literally the turn after you played, you could ultimate.
for sure.
Especially with like the Karn's land we talked about earlier. Like
Yeah.
this card also feels pushed.
It does. It really does. Like, this card seems so good that, like, I'm thinking about taking apart my Saheeli artifact. I know. And turning it into Breya.
Just to get access to black. Yeah, that seems right. I don't know. Yeah. Well, this is the buy a box promo, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this card's pretty sweet.
So, I'm buying a box now.
Yeah. And, the other bit is like, I wonder like how hard he had to fight Picard,
Yep.
because he's master of the bridge.
Yep. I mean, it's not really Picard that I'd be worried about. It's Riker.
Tasha. Yeah, right. Tasha Yar. She's the defense officer.
Sure, her too. I don't know. I just thought Riker was hardcore. And also, what if Worf's up there? That guy's he's a Klingon. He's got that sword. And he's like holding it all crazy.
The batleth.
I saw one of these in a Star Trek museum in St. Louis one time. It looks like something not to be trifled with. They were not happy when I tried to grab it from the exhibit.
All right, so we've got one last card to talk about here tonight, and that is Ignite the Beacon. This is 4 and a white for an instant. Search your library for up to 2 Planeswalker cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your library. This card is gangbusters.
Yeah.
5 mana is a lot, but it's instant speed tutor. It's not card disadvantage. In fact, it's card advantage. You get 2 cards. I mean, you can do a lot with this card. And if you're playing in green white and you already have like the doubling season down, like you just cast this and go get like the best 2 and you're going to get the ultimates. Like this card is going to end a lot of games.
It is.
Especially in Commander, I think.
I think so too. And like, that's the thing. Like, I was like, this isn't that good. And I was like, well, yeah, but think about this then. What if it got 2 artifacts? I was like, I'd be in for that. What if it got 2 enchantments? I'd be in for that. Then why not 2 planeswalkers? Okay, I guess I'm in for that too. Right? Like,
I've convinced you, you're saying.
Yes. Like, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll put it in my decks. I'll get it in my deck.
All right, everybody. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Let us know what you think about all the cards. We're really excited about War of the Spark. So, get in the conversation with us. And please remember to like and subscribe below here. And if you want to hit us up and talk about this, you can do so in the comment section, or you can hit us up on Twitter. We are at Brothers Warcast, and individually on Twitter, I'm at Green Geek.
I'm at Z4CK38.
All right, so this is the Brothers War saying until next week, Geek
out.